I can understand how you guys feel. It's the worst possible feeling. It's confusion, it's anger, it's just an overall brokenness.
Fans expected Blake Shelton to step on stage beside Gwen Stefani and remind the world why their story worked. He made the most un-Blake move imaginable. He went quiet. No quip, no grin, no y'all, just absence. Hours later, the other shoe dropped. His label parked Backroads and Heartaches on blocks until the timing is right. So here's the hook that answers the title. The night Blake Shelton walked away, the industry answered with a silence of its own. And if you listen closely, you can hear the two silences arguing. His about pride and pain, theirs about optics and profit.
It is the great day of corn. Woo! Corn in the truck, corn in the field.
He was the voice of America's heartland because he never pretended to be anything else. Funny, unshakable, larger than life, until life got larger than the stage. Country fans love a straight shooter, and Blake has always worn his truth like denim. Easy, durable, never precious. But the part the spotlight never caught is the cost. The joke lands easier than the ache. The drawl hides the bruise. By the time Los Angeles rolled the red carpet out for the 2025 American Music Awards, the man who made grief singable and love believable had already been carrying a weight no arena could see. The plan, on paper, was simple. A public reset with Gwen, a joint moment that said, "We're fine." The songs are louder than the rumors. Instead, reality happened.
That's Gwen Stefani. You and me used to be together every day together. Always. I really feel that
Expectations were high because that's what this couple did to us. They taught us to hope. People predicted a duet, at least a shared walk, and a look that said together. But when the flashes started and the first questions flew, only Gwen stepped into the frame. Mirror metallic dress, perfect smile, cool as neon. The absence next to her wasn't just a no-show, it was a headline you could feel. Whispers grew legs, threads multiplied. By the time the telecast hit the first commercial break, a million timelines had a million theories. The sharpest rumor took aim at the set list. Last-minute lyric changes in a song they were supposed to share. Words Blake allegedly saw too late. Words he couldn't sing without betraying the way he tells the truth for a living. For a guy whose currency is honesty, whose brand is "what you hear is what I meant." That kind of switch isn't a tweak, it's a fault line. Country is built on the idea that the voice you hear belongs to a person who could sit 2 stools down and tell you the same thing with a beer in hand. If the lyric says something he can't stand behind, if it turns confession into performance, the song stops being shelter and becomes a costume. So Blake did the one thing few people in that building expected. He didn't argue, he didn't spin, he didn't go anyway. He exited the story. Then the moment that poured gas on speculation, Gwen sang, "No apology required." Pop rock spark, steel in the vowels, a hook that cut like a neon sign. Betrayal, distance, resilience. It was impossible not to connect dots, and the internet loves connecting dots even when they're different puzzles. Instead of unity, people saw a split screen. Gwen, defiant under stadium lights. Blake, off the grid. A power couple turned into a pair of singular artists on the same night for opposite reasons. Fans who tuned in for reassurance left with a knot in their stomachs and more tabs open than answers. When Blake finally spoke, he did it the way men raised by weather and chores often do, sparingly. A cryptic line online about how sometimes silence says more than a song. It wasn't a clapback, it was a boundary. And of course the boundary made the noise louder. Did it confirm a fight? Did it protect a love? Did it just buy time? The truth is, for a man who has been famous long enough to know how stories mutate, saying less is the only way to keep something that matters from turning into content. The quiet read like a prayer. Let the storm pass pass without me. And then came the thing that cut deeper than gossip. The record company punted Backroads and Heartaches. On paper, a delay is a tactic. In the heart of a songwriter, it's a theft. Because when everything else goes sideways, when headlines misunderstand you and cameras catch the wrong angle, the studio is the room that doesn't lie. He'd poured himself into that album after stepping back from The Voice, traded judging chairs for kitchen tables, TV applause for tractor hum, channeling the ache and the after into the kind of songs that build a bridge back to yourself. The label's math, not while the tabloids are loud, made business sense and human nonsense. Friends said it rattled him in a way even he didn't expect, like someone had locked the only door that still opened.
I just got a new truck. We're both trying to figure out the stereo. So what are you doing? You go, well, I was trying to find Kiss FM to see if I could hear my new song on there.
Yep.
And I pushed one button because I don't know what to do either, and Kiss FM came on, and your song was already playing.
Blake has always made pain portable. It's the gift and the curse of artists who write plain. Their private becomes our public, and the exchange only works when they can control the when and the how. That control vanished twice in a week. First on a stage he didn't step onto, then in a conference room he wasn't invited to. The combination can break a person's balance. People who love him, the real ones, not the sunshine only crowd, saw the tells. The joke slowed down. The eyes did more work. The cowboy who could disarm a room with a shrug suddenly looked like a man counting his breaths. To understand why this chapter hits different, you have to rewind past the spotlight to the porch. Blake Shelton, Ada, Oklahoma. Beauty salon mom, car lot dad. By 12, a guitar felt more like a limb. By 15, he was wiring feelings into melody because words alone weren't cutting it. He learned early how to turn ache into architecture. Then came the scar that never closed. In 1990, Richie, his older brother, died in a car accident at 24. That kind of loss ages you in a night and teaches you a language you spend a lifetime translating. Later, when he sang The Heartbreakers, you heard Richie even when he never said the name. That's the engine under the hood. Grief turned into something you can sing along to when your own words won't come. 17 and stubborn, he took a shot at Nashville. Publishing desk by day, dream maintenance by night. The town taught him the rules. Talent matters, but timing eats talent for breakfast. He watched his intended debut single, I Want to Talk About Me, get reassigned to Toby Keith, who took it to #1. A lot of people fold there. Blake didn't. He kept writing, kept knocking, kept being the guy you couldn't dismiss because every time you tried, he played you something that made you pause. In 2001, Austin arrived like a summer storm. 5 weeks at #1, a voice that sounded like your neighbor and your favorite memory at the same time. Critics argued over whether he leaned too alt country. Listeners didn't. They just called the radio station and said play it again. The climb didn't smooth out, it sharpened him. 2011's Red River Blue blasted the doors off. Honeybee to the Top, Billboard 200 #1 album, a run of singles, God Gave Me You, Drink On, It, Over, that built him a highway of consecutive chart toppers. Awards followed, but more importantly, trust did. You could buy a ticket and know you were going to get laughter and something to cry to on the drive home. Then The Voice turned a country star into a household first name. America met not just the singer, but the coach. The guy who could roast and reassure in the same sentence, who made kids from small towns feel seen, and kids from big cities feel like small towns might not be so bad. Television brought him Gwen. On paper, they didn't match. On camera, they made sense. Two people who had been publicly broken finding air in each other's spaces. The duets worked because they weren't pretending it was a fairy tale. It was two people building a porch swing on live TV. For years, it felt like they'd outrun the odds. Two different genres, two different coasts, one house where the jokes always landed. But love under surveillance is a contact sport. Careers tugged, kids needed schedules, pop reinvents, country roots. The balance worked until it didn't. By 2025, the hairline cracks had a spotlight on them. Back in 2015, when the Miranda era ended, the pain had a villain everyone understood. Heartbreak. He bled it into If I'm Honest, and we all stitched ourselves up on the way out. This time, it's two front, love complicated and art constrained. You can live without a red carpet. You can't live without your outlet. The label's calculus. Wait until the gossip cools. Ignored the math of a musician's mind. Sometimes the only way to cool the gossip is to drown it with a song. Parking the Record stole the hose, but the catalog says he'll find a way. He always has. You can trace his discography like tree rings. Austin is the wide-eyed hope. The mid-2000s toggle between Winks, Some Beach, and gut punches, The Baby. Red River Blue is confidence with a honeymoon aftertaste. The post-2015 output is a man who rebuilt the kitchen after a fire and wrote at the table. Even the pandemic years, Fully Loaded God's Country, proved he could make mass resonance in a world where stages went dark. The constant is The Confession. When he sings from the bruise, people stop reaching for their phones. All of which explains why his silence is the loudest thing he's done in years. It's not retreat, it's refusal. A refusal to audition for his own life. A refusal to turn a private dispute into a performative duet that would trend and then haunt them later. So what now? Don't expect a press conference. Expect fence posts. Expect co-writes with people who bring out the marrow. Quiet rooms in Nashville where the coffee is too strong and the true.
But now this is it for you on The Voice. You're almost done with The Voice, right?
Kelly finally got me fired. I wanted to announce that here on the show that Kelly Clarkson actually got me fired.
Is that true? Kelly had you ousted?
Yeah, NBC stands for Nothing But Clarkson. I found because she's not on every late night show. She's got the daytime
She
show.
has displaced
She's going to
you.
have one of these soon.
She'll
man.
probably have this one.
Probably
Yeah.
so, yeah.
I better get a bulldozer. Does Kelly have a bulldozer?
She didn't make it in country music. She's a pop star.
Interesting.
She's a pop star, so she went.